Welcome, everybody. It's so wonderful to be back with you. And it's wonderful to have Cynthia here. And um, I want to give my heartfelt thanks to both Heidi and Liza Jane for carrying things forward over the last two sessions. And now tonight, um, we will bring our study of the other shore to completion and see what comes for the new year. It's really nice to be sharing this moment as we travel into the winter solstice and the dark time of the year. And except for you all who are in summer solstice, you can wave to us from the light. Yeah, it's been quite a wonderful time when I was in Japan, and I am now back in Oakland. I'm not home yet, but I am in Oakland. And it's just been such a precious 9 months for me, and I feel for all of us to do this study with each other. And yeah. And so I thought I would just go ahead and share some from this closing chapter. And then we will, Cynthia, do you want to say something first before I go into the chapter?
I don't have a lot to say right now, Elizabeth, except just to honor you for holding this group and for your leadership and your wisdom. Because I know you maybe a little bit longer and better than some others in this circle who haven't even ever met you in person. But I'm just so sort of moved every time you share. Your wisdom is really meaningful and really insightful, and it's just been wonderful to be able to step away knowing that you are holding this group in the way that only you can do, and then to have others of you coming forward. And I know in the beginning, it was kind of like sharing stories and getting to know each other and stuff, and then turning into this incredibly beautiful text of Thich Nhat Hanh, and having that be the basis for this exploration and kind of the container for being together. And I've just witnessed from the wings how the group has matured over this time, how the leadership has been shared, how you all have kept going and kept it going, and take refuge here, and how important that is. And I'm just profoundly grateful and deeply moved by all of this, and being able to now come back after having completed my book, which is the big accomplishment of the year. Yeah, thank you. Huge, deep exhale.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my God. And just excited that, it is on its way now. So thank you, all of you, for holding the space for me. Like Thich Nhat Hanh says, I am here because you are there. And this relationship of interbeing is something that we are getting to experience very deeply here. And it's really, in a very big, important part of this Gaia Mandala global healing community. So it's wonderful to see you again, wonderful to be here. And we wanted to share, and then we wanted to actually do the Heart Sutra together, and then meditate, sit and walk, and then enjoy a tangerine. And I hope you all brought a tangerine. Yep. So, here we are, the final chapter. So, Elizabeth, please take us where we need to go today.
Okay. Okay. And when we recite the Heart Sutra, it is in the book. So if your book is handy, that's wonderful. It's on page 127 or 126. And then if you don't have a tangerine, if you have any other piece of fruit you can bring and have there to be mindful with, that will work. Okay. Well, what I'm inspired to share is that in this process of evolving out of the materialistic worldview created through an emphasis on being separate self-entities living in an inanimate world, I found for myself, Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings expanded my consciousness within the truth of our oneness. And up to this point, I had considered oneness while still holding a separate self-identity. And though I am not sure as to whether we exist as eternal souls or not, considering that I exist because of particular conditions arising to support my manifestation and that I will one day dissolve back into this oneness, did allow me to touch states of liberation that I had not experienced while completely being embedded in the idea of being a separate self, eternal soul. And so for that, I'm very grateful. I was able to touch, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, how the Prajnaparamita gives us solid ground for making peace with ourselves, for transcending the fear of birth and death, and the duality of this and that. In the light of emptiness, everything is everything else. We enter are, and everyone is responsible for everything that happens in life. And I benefited from Thich Nhat Hanh's insight that in Buddhist meditation, we need not struggle for the kind of enlightenment that will happen in 5 or 10 years from now or in another lifetime. We practice so that each moment of our life becomes real life.
Mm-hmm.
When we meditate, we sit just for sitting, not to attain something else. When we participate in walking meditation, we walk just for walking, not to arrive anywhere. Each conscious breath, each conscious step brings real life back to us. And I think we all experienced how when we allow peace and happiness to arise in ourselves through sitting, walking, and sharing our insights with each other, our practice does provide the world with a solid basis of peace and joy. And another important part of these teachings which bring peace is being present with both sides of dual existence, fully aware without becoming polarized by being for one side and against an other. And the example Thich Nhat Hanh gave was that we can be very happy because we have wonderful food to eat. But we also suffer because we are capable of seeing there are many who go hungry. And when we see in this way, it makes us sane. Because the way in front of us, the way to live so that we can make peace with ourselves and with the world, becomes clear. When we see the good and the bad, the wondrous and the deep suffering, we are called to live in a way that can make peace within ourselves and the world. Understanding is the fruit of meditation. understanding is the basis of everything. Each breath we take, each step we make, each smile we realize is a positive contribution to peace, a necessary step in the direction of peace in the world. In the light of interbeing, peace and happiness in our daily life means peace and happiness for the world. And it is together that we are carried to the other shore. And so I thought from here we could go into the Heart Sutra, right?
Yeah, so just to jump in for a second, Elizabeth and I were talking about doing this and wanting to practice reciting the Heart Sutra. And I shared with her, and maybe I've shared with you, that I am actually not familiar, I haven't memorized how to do it in Thich Nhat Hanh's tradition in this way, because it's evolved over time. And so we would play the recording from Plum Village with the beautiful music, that they have given it, and then read it. We'll turn off our audio, except for Rasul, who will play the recording. Otherwise, our voices will conflict with each other. But I'd like to really invite us to raise our voices and chant it together with the monks and nuns at Plum Village. And maybe we can start to do this more regularly, because it is so beautiful and we have made this such a deep practice or exploration. So, and then after the recitation, to just go into a period of sitting meditation, which I will open with the bell as we normally do. Sit for 20 minutes and then a little walking meditation for another 10, and then sit back down and go into the Tangerine Meditation. That is part of how Thich Nhat Hanh ends the book. So that's the lay of the land. And if that's okay with everyone, that's what we'll do.
The insight that brings us to the other shore. Practicing deeply with the insight that brings us to the other shore. Suddenly discover that all of the five skandhas are equally empty, and with this realization he overcame all ill being. Listen, Shariputra, this body itself is emptiness, and emptiness itself is this body. This body is not other than emptiness, and emptiness is not other than realms of phenomena, which are the six sense organs, six sense objects, and six consciousnesses, are also not separate self-entities. The 12 links of interdependent arising and their extinction are also not separate self-entities. Ill-being, the causes of ill-being, the end of ill-being, the path, insight, and attainment are also not separate self-entities. Whoever can see this no longer needs anything to attain. Bodhisattvas who practice the insight that brings us to the other shore see no more obstacles in their mind, and because there are no more obstacles in their mind, they can overcome all fear, destroy all wrong perceptions, and realize perfect nirvana. All Buddhas in the past, present, and future, by practicing the insight that brings us to the other shore, are all capable of attaining authentic and perfect enlightenment. Therefore, Shariputra, it should be known that the insight that brings us to the other shore is a great mantra, the most illuminating mantra, the highest mantra, a mantra beyond compare, the true wisdom that has the power to put an end to all kinds of suffering. Therefore, let us proclaim a mantra to praise the insight that brings us to the other shore. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha.
Sorry. I'm sure you could hear that. Perfection of wisdom, mother of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and all beings, nourishing, holding, and healing all. Great Mother Earth, precious jewel of the cosmos, to you we bow in gratitude. We take refuge in the earth as our teacher, the one who shows us the way in this life. We take refuge in the earth as an expression of the Dharma, the teachings of interbeing, understanding, and love. We take refuge in the earth as an embodiment of the sangha, the vast interdependent community of life in balance and harmony. Living within the web of life on earth, we dedicate ourselves to embodying awakened awareness on the path of healing in service to all beings. We dedicate our lives to realizing our oneness with Gaia. May all beings enjoy happiness and the seeds of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the seeds of suffering. May they not be separated from great happiness, free from suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, free from passion, aggression, jealousy, and ignorance. The bell inviter that I'm currently using is quite unpredictable, the way that it works. And I'm looking forward to receiving a new one from Japan that Elizabeth has brought back from Stephen Comey. So that will be a good day. Meanwhile, here we are, having found ourselves again together, this beautiful mandala circle practice, cultivating this view of interbeing that Thich Nhat Hanh so beautifully invites us into. He talks about how the Heart Sutra gives us a really solid ground, and Elizabeth spoke to this in the beginning. A ground by really understanding what the Heart Sutra speaks to, that allows us to make peace with ourselves, to make peace with those dualities that are constantly coming up, and our fears around birth and death, and how everything is connected, when we can see how everything is connected. Even the most disparate dualities, we can produce happiness in ourselves, and in so doing, we bring happiness to the world because it's connected. There's no separation. We are the world, as the famous song goes. So let us consider eating a tangerine as an act of peacemaking. It moves me so much. Thich Nhat Hanh goes through this whole book, these profound teachings. And then he brings it all back to this simple act of eating a tangerine and suggesting, as he always does, because his perspective is that of engaged Buddhism, making a difference. He brings it back to this simple act. He says, if we can just enjoy even one moment of eating the tangerine, just like one moment of our sitting meditation or a walking meditation, we can establish that quality of peace and serenity within ourselves, which then provides the basis for that serenity in the world, which is so needed. So pick up your tangerine and hold it in the palm of your hand. Maybe squeeze it a little bit to release the fragrance. Really look at it and breathe. Breathe in and out, gazing at the tangerine in the palm of your hand. See its life. Feel its presence. Breathe in, breathe out. Recognize that it was once a little bud and then a blossom. In fact, I have a little lemon tree. It's a Myers lemon tree growing in a pot here in this room. And it is in full blossom right now. And so here are some blossoms. I don't know, where are we? Yeah, there we are. Look at those blossoms. And you can remember the smell of these blossoms. It's just the most incredible perfume. And maybe we can imagine walking outside with a little breeze blowing and the fragrance of the tangerine blossom wafting through the air. And see the sunshine warming the tree and the leaves and the blossoms, and the rain or the hose or the watering can watering it, and the fruit ripening over time. It doesn't ripen overnight, but then one day it's ripe. We know the fruit, we can feel that it's ripe, ready to be picked. And the moist earth is saying, now, now. And the tree and the leaves are waving at us, going, maybe you'd like to partake of this fruit. And breathing in and breathing out, we pluck a tangerine from the branch, and taking it into our hands with gratitude, we begin to peel the tangerine mindfully, with all of our attention focused on this fruit. We can break through the skin and open it slowly, smelling the fragrance that is released from the skin. Moving over the fruit, to peel back the orange skin. Breathing in and breathing out, fully present. Maybe we can, since we're in a relationship of interbeing with the tangerine, we can relate to peeling back the skin of our own selves to reveal the fruit, the beautiful fruit in all its sections. And when you're ready, opening the tangerine mindfully. And opening then one of the sections, peeling it off. Taking another breath and be with the section. And then carefully, lovingly placing it on our tongue. And chewing the tangerine. Taking its flavor. To our bodies. And one by one, enjoying each section of the tangerine. Feeling the juice release when we bite into it. The nourishment that it offers. Remembering, as Elizabeth pointed out in the beginning, that not everyone has a tangerine. Not everyone has even a plate of food. So we eat it, we enjoy it, not only for ourselves, but for others. We do so joyfully, gratefully, joyfully. This tangerine traveled a long way to arrive in our hands, most of us. When we make a practice of eating in this way, we can have the experience of the one who is eating and that which is being eaten as inseparable, as one. There's no separation. In the Tibetan tradition, they call that one taste. Breathing in and breathing out. Enjoying each bite with full presence. Giving ourselves over fully to this beautiful fruit. I suppose we could say it's a kind of sacrament when we do this. From the body of the tangerine tree, the fruit of Mother Earth, into our own bodies, ingesting, taking it in, receiving, enjoying. Let us be grateful for each moment, for every meal, and for the tangerine. And when we can do this, we can make peace with ourselves and make peace with ourselves so that we can be at peace in the world. And whenever we begin a meal, we can start with 3 breaths to come into the present moment with our food, with that which nourishes us, with each meal, and remind ourselves how sacred it is, how simple and beautiful, and how much we need to be nourished for our lives. to be happy with the simple nourishment that the earth gives us, that we share with each other, that we cook, that we grow, and enjoy it also for others. And seeing both those that have and those that have not, holding both, overcoming duality, arriving at understanding of all that is without separation. That understanding, that's the word prajna. In prajna paramita, the fruit of our meditation is understanding. The fruit of our practice. The understanding that takes us to the other shore. The shore of liberation, the shore of freedom, the shore of awakening. So I'm curious what this exploration of the other shore has been for all of you. How has it been? What have you seen? Have you tasted a little bit of fruit in the course of going into this exploration? So I think the circle is open. in Plum Village, and also in Vietnam one time when I was there with Thai, he would do tangerine meditations or tea ceremonies, very similar to enjoy a cup of tea. And then the circle would be open for sharing spontaneous poems and songs of realization. And we might not have songs of great realization, but this has been a deep dive. This has been a really deep dive to Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings on the Heart Sutra. Are maybe some of the most profound teachings we'll have the chance to encounter in this life.